So, that was fun, Alicia said, sitting up and wiping a smear of dragon fat off her cheek delicately. Did any of them get squished? He wanted to shush her, to hide her behind his back, but anything could do would just invite Zarakonar in further. Zarakonar raised an eyebrow. Well, at least you have the sense of humor your master lacks, and a backbone. Perhaps when this is over you'll reconsider your allegiances. Gav could feel her tense under him, but her face stayed neutral. She pushed him off, and he reluctantly let go. They scrambled to their feet. Below, the roof of one of the smaller houses had completely folded in, one severed dragon head lying in the middle of the heap of gore and thatch. In the square, the bunting sagged sadly, and several of the booths had been knocked over. One slowly collapsed even as they watched. Blood-drenched visitors scrambled back and forth wailing. Not the villagers, he noticed. Wise to the ways of dark wizards, they hung back, waiting until it was actually safe. The novelty seekers, though, they had something to gawk at, and gawk they did. Gav hoped that they felt they were getting their money's worth. That does set the tone nicely, Zarakonar said. Now, to do something about the infiltrators. Alicia made an involuntary noise at the back of her throat. You don't approve, little apprentice? Zarakonar stepped back and turned that sardonic smile on her. Perhaps you don't have what you need. Perhaps you don't have what you need after all. Alicia looked like she might answer, and Gav cut her off. I don't think that will be necessary. Zarakonar turned the force of his gaze on him, which made his bowels attempt to melt, but it got his focus off Alicia. Are you objecting? No, of course not, Gav said, trying to sound casual. It was just a privilege to watch a master at work last night. Very effective. He brushed what could have been slime off of his robes. But I'm playing host, and this rabble really is my problem to deal with, he continued. Why don't I finish mopping up so you can focus on what you really came here for? Zarakonar regarded him with narrowed eyes. He was being too suave, he realized with some panic. He broke the gaze, staring at the floor, letting the flush come to his cheeks. If that's all right with you, my lord. He scuffed at the floor with a toe, visibly made himself stop. It wasn't hard to feign embarrassment and dismay. It was keeping them from spiraling up to hysteria that was the problem. He swallowed and gestured at the heroes still camped on his doorstep. I apologize for the inconvenience. As you should, Zarakonar said finally, after a long moment of letting Gav stare at the ground, increasingly panicked. This disturbance is hardly acceptable. Very well. Clean up your mess while he let the phrase competent ones hang unsaid, begin the preparations. He started to make his way towards the wards, but paused in the doorway. Oh, and Gavarex? Yes, my lord? Gav glanced up and then back down at the stones quickly. If we are disturbed again, I shall be very displeased. Zarakonar's gaze shifted to where Alicia stood, silently trembling. I have heard you have your own interest in immolation spells, and you seem interested in my technique. Perhaps I will allow you to view another demonstration, this one at closer range. That gave him the properly threatening exit that he'd been looking for, and he swept his way back down the stairs. Alicia's knees buckled. Gav reached out to keep her from tumbling over the wall, and she snatched her arm back. Don't touch me, she snapped. He looked down instead, giving her privacy to pull herself back together. Below, Tyrwin had clearly decided enough time had passed without a follow-up that the danger was over for the present. She was organizing a team to clear up the wreckage. Villagers parted the sea of tourists who were getting over their shock and starting to excitedly compare their relative dragon explosion experiences. Was that as close as I thought? She finally asked quietly. Probably closer, he said. She watched silently as the little figures below got out brooms and rakes and shovels and started to clear out the mess. It was quite efficient. Clearly, monster cleanup was yet another one of their routines. Someone hooked up a hand pump to the well and started to hose down the flagstones in the courtyard. It looked like they were charging visitors for the privilege of getting hosed down. He mentally applauded Tyrwin. Perhaps they'd break even. If they cooked enough of the garlic, it might even overpower the dragon stench. "I thought you were a coward," she said. "I am a coward." "Well, then so am I." She shivered again. "He's a lot scarier in person than I'd imagined." "You at least thought fast enough to distract him," Gav replied. "He should have done something different at dinner. He didn't know what, but he should have done something different." "How can we stop someone like that?" She tugged at the high neck of her tunic. "Hey. Any kitties over there?" "No. You can come sit with me. Come on. Come up. Come sit." "No." "Okay. Good morning." "I don't know." Far out in the fields, the unsquished heroes were gathering together, plotting something. He couldn't see the ones he had noticed before in the town. They had likely retreated indoors in case another sudden shower of monster viscera. There weren't any more giant carcasses, it was true, but Gav couldn't honestly promise that there wouldn't be a later downpour of moat squid. It wasn't fair. The good guys had allies. But then, maybe so did he. None of them were allies Gavarax would have recognized, but then again, none of them would have been likely to cooperate with Gavarax. Maybe someone else does.